Hello and welcome. A few weeks ago I had the opportunity to attend the New Zealand National Brass Band competitions. Now this was an enjoyable event, made all the more exciting by the fact that my band won. So in today's video we're going to talk a little bit about that experience. Brass band competitions are something that have been running in New Zealand for a very long time, since the late 1800s, and they're an opportunity for the bands across the country to get together and compete. There's 5 different categories. There is the A grade, which is the cream of the crop as far as New Zealand brass bands are concerned. There's the B grade, which is the grade that I and my band compete with. Then we have the C grade, the D grade, and the youth grade, in case there are a few junior bands that want to go. This year the competitions were held down in Dunedin, which meant it was freezing. It's the middle of winter here in New Zealand, and Dunedin is pretty far down the country, so it was a pretty cold opportunity, a pretty cold occasion I should say. So for the band events, each band has a number of events that they compete in. In the B grade we start on the first day of our competition with a slow melody and a set test piece. So the slow melody is usually some sort of hymn tune arrangement or some other sort of slow melody designed to sort of demonstrate the band's sense of ensemble, how well they have mastered the basics, and how nice a sound that they can produce as a unit. And then we play the set test piece. Each grade has a set piece that they have to perform. Ours this year was Journey into Freedom, which is a certified banger of a piece. It's a piece that was written a very long time ago, but it's sort of stood the test of time, and it's a pretty musical test piece. One of the downsides of many test pieces is that they can be a little bit academic. They can be more about the test and less about music or sort of anything that makes them nice to listen to. And particularly when you go into the A grades, there's more test pieces that you sort of understand from an academic level rather than enjoy from a musical level, or at least with my view of the world, that's how I sort of interpret them somewhat. So that's day one of our competition, and then on the next day we perform our own choice. Now this is a test piece, but the band gets to choose it, and so this year we played Philip Sparks' Dances and Alleluias. Now that's a test piece that would normally be played in the A grades, but we thought we would stretch ourselves, and so we played it in the B grades and did a reasonable job. So I'll be publishing some of the recordings of those videos on this channel so you can sort of hear what the band sounded like. There are other events too. There are solo, duet, party events. They happen before the band events. And so, for instance, each of the instruments will have a set piece. So there's a set euphonium solo, for instance, and then the winner of each of those open grade instruments will compete in a thing called the Champion of Champions. Now, I didn't compete in the solos this year. I just didn't really have the time or the motivation to put a huge amount of effort in it. There is another event that we all have to do though, and that is the street march. One of the functions of a brass band in years gone by is to waddle down the street playing an uplifting piece known as a march. And this is something that many bands, not all of them, but many of them do because they have to do. I personally hate it. I haven't marched for a number of years because of my back, but I thought this year I would see how I went, and it was a mistake. Number one, it was freezing. It was cold, it was windy, it was deeply unpleasant. But number two, my back just doesn't like doing that. Now, unlike marching in other countries where it's sort of all a bit for show, the street marching here is designed to be, regimentally in time and precise, and you are waddling down the street with your instrument, playing a tune, listening to the commands of the drum major and following them. And you're graded on how correctly you do that. Now, our band got a rather majestic second to last. Not just second to last in our grade, but I think we actually got second to last in the entire thing. And that's sort of consonant with the fact that no one in the band sort of really takes this seriously. From a course perspective, it's pretty simple. You march straight, and then there's a turn. You turn 90 degrees left, and or go around a corner. That's 90 degrees. March a little bit, and then you're finished. So it's not particularly onerous. It's none of this sort of in the field formation stuff where you're drawing out letters or spelling the word Ohio or anything like that. You are just marching down a street. However, what I found interesting is that there is 400,000 different ways you can navigate the turn. And people that care about such things know all the different steps and styles and approaches and all the rest of it. For us, we decided to do something quite tricky with the attempt that if we did something out of formation, no one could possibly mark us down because they wouldn't be able to know what we were doing. That strategy didn't work for us. I think the adjudicators saw right through that. But there were a couple of bands that I thought did this quite hilariously, because you're supposed to go up to the corner, go around it in a precise, regimented fashion, and then just continue on your way. Whereas we just sort of went around in on ourselves and rotated and did all sorts of things to try and fool the judge. But there were some bands that took that a step further. There was one band I particularly enjoyed that didn't bother doing the turn whatsoever. They marched straight, halted, then everyone did a 90-degree turn on the spot, and then they stepped off and kept marching again, which I thought was hilarious. And then there was another band, Addington Brass, which had me almost wetting myself because their attempt at going around the corner was a little bit more of a protest.
Here we go for change of direction with Addington Brass.
There is a website that's dedicated to the results and everything from these brass band competitions, so there's a whole lot more information available online if anyone's interested in it. Wellington Brass won the A grades for the 5th time on the trot, so a big congratulations to them. But next year it's up in Auckland, which is going to hopefully be a little bit warmer, so we'll see what happens next year. Thank you very much for watching.